Iran unveiled a new ballistic missile Thursday that the Islamic Republic claims can hit targets 1,200 miles away. The missile can allegedly carry a 3,300-pound warhead, the heaviest payload in the country's fleet. Earlier in the week, the U.S. briefly released rare images of a bomb designed to be able to sink and destroy underground targets deep under the surface. Those images were published following a report that Iran was working on building a nuclear facility beyond the weapons range. We are now joined by Morgan Ortagus, who served as State Department spokesperson during the Trump administration. So, Morgan, is this just Iran going tit for tat with the U.S., showing off weapons and a not-so-veiled threat? Or should we treat this as more of a serious show of force?
I would say it's the latter. It's a serious show of force. And again, this show of force defies UN Security Council resolution. So it's important to note that at the UN, member states voted in the Security Council that Iran should not be able to obtain materials to make a ballistic missile. And in fact, China and Russia over the years have actually defied those orders and have assisted Iran in building this technology. This is one of the things that we saw during the Iran deal, which is called the JCPOA. It really didn't put any limitations on Iran's ballistic missile production. And now recent government disclosures show that they probably have over 3,000 ballistic missiles. What's important to note is these things that they're testing. These are the mechanisms by which they could deliver a nuclear weapon if they were able to perfect it and to obtain it. And we may not be that far off from them being able to do so.
So, Morgan, as you know, the Air Force released and then took down images of weapons, which some speculate may not be able to take out new underground facilities being built in Iran. Why would they share these images and then reverse course and take them down?
I'm not exactly sure why they did it. It could have been an accident, or it could have been a warning shot to show the Iranian regime what we are capable of. I think what's sort of bigger, more important to note here, the bigger picture, is that there aren't great solutions for stopping Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon. And remember that the leadership, the regime in Iran, threatens the very existence of the state of Israel on a regular basis. And so Israel has every right to fear that if Iran does obtain a nuclear weapon, especially because of these ballistic missiles that they're producing, that the first attack could be on the state of Israel, which would, again, it's not a big country. It could threaten the entire existence of the state of Israel. And so you may see Israeli leadership in a position in the next few years where they have to make incredibly hard and tough choices about taking out this nuclear weapons program. One thing I would also remind your viewers is that it's not just about Iran and Israel. Iran has been, over the last 6 to 8 months, if not longer, assisting Russia in the war against Ukraine. I actually wrote a Wall Street Journal op-ed in September highlighting this and exposing it for everyone. And it's really incredibly unfortunate. You are seeing Ukrainians being killed on the battlefield today from Russians using Iranian drones and other technologies. So this goes beyond the Middle East. We are seeing the Iranian regime actively supporting the Russians against the Ukrainians.
A lot to watch. Morgan Ortagus, insightful as always. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.